You know, imagine I'm now set to fight Fury 3 months away, and then 2 weeks before the fight he pulls out. This is the type of character I'm dealing with. So what I'm just gonna bide my time. When he's ready, he knows where I am. I'm keen. I'm a straight shooter. I don't mess around. If he wants to fight, he knows I'll fight. He knows I'll fight him. And I say the longer he leaves it, the worse it is. So he wants to come to me now because I'm still developing and learning. So all I'm saying is that with everything I've seen going on with Fury, I've just known when he's ready, when he's settled and he knows exactly what he's doing, come and find me. Because I can't be chasing a man that's fighting Wilder, fighting Caballero, announcing he's fighting me twice this year. I just realised that let me just wait until he's ready and he'll know where I'm at.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Anthony, the wig pusher backer, Joshua. Now again, this right here is an exclusive leaked video. If you man have seen it elsewhere, you're lying to yourself. This one's brand spanking new, fresh off the post, yeah, fresh out the printer, exclusively to the YB. That's what we do know. And essentially, it's Anthony Nostradamus Joshua predicting Tyson Fury would find some goofy looking ass way to not do the fight. Now this is what you man really need to get into your barnets right now, is the fact that this fight is never going to happen, and AJ has told you there why it's never going to happen. Fury is not serious, and you got to ask yourself the question: how did AJ know this? How did AJ know months in advance that Fury would be goofy? That Fury would find ways not to do something. The same way I knew. Do you understand? This isn't by chance, by the way. It's not by chance I know things that are going to happen and then they happen. It's because you can analyse behaviour. Obviously, you man ain't blessed in that area. You can't analyse behaviour, but the YB can. Obviously, he can. That's why I knew it wasn't going to happen. So now it gets even more worrying when you think to yourself, this, in my opinion, was the best chance for it to happen. And we got nowhere close. Because, don't get twisted. People say, YB, but it was done. It was done. It was not done. Fury never signed the contract. And most importantly, yes, Fury put the video out, ranting and raving. But guess what? Why didn't he upload a video of him signing it, innit? Don't tell me the file, but YB, the fight was done, it's going to happen in December. The fight was done, and it was going to happen in December. Why didn't Fury post a video of him signing it? Because guess what? He had no problem posting a video signing the Wilder one, did he? Oh, but YB, he put a video out saying he just got off the phone with Prince Khalid. Yeah, so? Why didn't he put the video out of him signing the contract? Because he had no intention. It was never going to get done. That Prince Khalid thing, that Prince DJ Khaled thing, yeah? DJ Khaled, yes, he went on the phone. Yes, Tyson Fury went on the phone with Prince DJ Khaled, no doubt. Yeah? They talked a whole bunch of gas together. But actions, again, speak louder than words. With Fury, a little trick here. Don't ever listen to what Fury says. If you do, you're fixing to get a whole bunch of bust on your barnet. Watch his actions. Guess what? Allegedly the big shock of Wilder arbitration, the alleged big shock of it, yeah? What happened? Despite all the shock and all the alleged uncertainty, Fury was putting videos out 2 days later, signing a Wilder contract. After a 6-month shocker, allegedly. Somehow he was able to post a video signing the contract after 2 days. Meanwhile, AJ, 6 months down the line, we don't get no video of nothing. We get no videos of no actions. All we get is gas. The same way, I put to you, yeah, the same way 4 months ago, Fury was saying, it's signed, I'm going to fill AJ in, is exactly as cheap as it was when he just got off the phone to Prince DJ Khaled. Yeah? For some reason, you man always put value in things he says. Oh, but YB, it was done. He just got off the phone with Prince DJ Khaled. What's his actions, though? And the thing with Fury is, he's not really that smart, because if he was really smart, he'd stay consistent. But he makes it obvious to you. He had no problem running onto social media and showing you that he signed the Wilder fight. No shame having ass. Bragging about it. Bragging about how happy he was to sign the Wilder fight. Now, he doesn't tell you the reason he's happy to sign the Wilder fight. The reason he's so happy is because, trust me, yes, he didn't want to fight Wilder. Yes, he didn't want to fight AJ. But guess what? He'd rather have to fight Wilder than he would AJ. That's why he's been so relieved. Because for a minute, he thought the fans and whatnot had backed him into a corner. The AJ corner. The 6'5", 250-pound, inside fighting-ness corner. That's where he thought he was for a minute. And that's why immediately after, he was putting videos out saying, "Oh, I'm so happy. Oh," giving it all that he was. Confessing his undying love for the happiness of life. Guess what? He didn't see one of them videos for the last 6 months. Because all he could think about was AJ hanging at the back of him. You know, all he could think about is AJ squeezing them double D's on his back. Yeah? That's what he could think about, no doubt. 100%. Now, which one of you, man? I know, obviously, I'm sure there's a few of you fruited on still, but how many of you, man, really want AJ hanging at the back of you? I don't. Yeah? Neither did Fury. So we can't even blame him. So, to be fair to him, we can't even really blame him, but at the end of the day, he signed up for this. Yeah? You signed up for this game. And that's why I'm hearing, like I exposed the other day, I'm hearing Fury fixing to retire. Fury is fixing to retire. He ain't looking to hang around too long now. He's realised Fury now is at the business end of his career. There ain't no more. He's realised the road's run out for fighting bums. There's no road left. He thought for a minute he might be able to negotiate his way there, but now he's at the business end. Everyone wants a piece. Wilder. Yes, Wilder's a blown up light heavyweight. Yes, Wilder's 190 pounds soaking wet. But still, to be fair to him, he's athletic. He's hungry. Fury don't want that. Fury likes to rock in there and be loosey-goosey and catch people sleeping. Fury arguably caught Wilder sleeping. In that sense, Wilder was feeling himself way too much, as he found out. The rematch is always the true person, in my opinion. That's why you see the true man. For example, Lennox Lewis or whoever. Pick anyone, really. Pick anyone. Pick any real champion. You always find out who they are in the rematch, rightly or wrongly. The point is, though, that's the tough one. That's when you see the real person. Now, it could be that Wilder flops again, but the point is, Fury knows that the chances are you ain't going to get a worse Wilder. Or either way, he don't want to take the risk. How about that? It's all a risk to him now. When you've got nothing to lose, when you're not champion, people say, why be? But Fury fought Wilder the second time. Guess what? Fury didn't have no belt then. He still had nothing to lose. They had a draw the first fight, and the second fight was a win-win. In that sense, and nothing to lose, no belt to lose. Now it's all on top of him now. Everything's a loss kind of thing. He can only go down from here. He can only get filled in by AJ. He can only get clipped by Wilder. And on that basis, you hear AJ. Unfortunately, the things that AJ says in this video is the very reason the fight won't happen. If Fury wouldn't fight AJ 3 years ago, that's my biggest beef. AJ, when Fury came back, AJ was offered then. Fury didn't want it. Now, this was the best chance in my opinion. This little period here was the best chance. Didn't get done. There's no way, I'm sorry. Even if Fury does beat Wilder, which is arguably a relatively big if, who knows? We just don't know how Wilder's going to come back. But if he does beat him, I just can't see it happening. I really can't. Especially with the way that John Fury is talking. The way that John Fury has lost all the bass in his voice. And when you see the people that Tommy Fury is fighting, I think John Fury knows that he's kind of passed on this genetic flawed. He's passed on this genetic limitation in the whiskers area and in the power area. That's why his son, Tommy Fury, is fighting a man who's 0-19. He knows he's passed on this genetic error as such. It doesn't take many watts of power and his bloodline goes spark out. And John Fury knows that the most. He learnt that himself. He ended his career Sparko. Yeah? Back-to-back, consecutive Sparkoed is how John Fury went out in his career. And he doesn't want the same for his sons. Do you understand that? And you can hear it in his voice. It's not a coincidence what's going on at the moment. It's not a coincidence Tommy Fury's fighting 0-19. It's not a coincidence Tyson Fury wants to fight a blown-up light heavyweight in Wilder. There's a reason Wilder and Fury always find some way not to fight AJ, but somehow they always fighting each other a million times in a row. It's amazing, really, when you think about it. Even though the AJ fight is always the bigger fight in monetary terms, and always the bigger fight in terms of belts and whatnot. And I've normally said it for the longest. You know people are ducking. You know people are scary when they're offered more money, multiples more money, multiples more belts, multiples more prestige, and they choose a lesser option. That there is the Duck 101. It makes no sense. And for some reason, only in Fury and Wilder's world is it acceptable. Because for anyone else, we'd all call it a spade a spade. Yep, that's ducking. It makes no sense. No sense at all. But these men know that it's not worth it to them. Fury would rather, clearly he'd rather retire, being able to say, oh yeah, well he got my belts out the bin, and if I came back I'd do this, I'd do that. That's how Fury wants to end his career. And that's why I believe, I'm not even sure that this, from what I'm hearing anyway, I'm not even sure the Fury fight versus Wilder's going to happen. I think Fury's better off retiring and saying, oh yeah, well I woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that kind of business. Because living it, he's never really been part of it. He nicked Vlad's belts and ran off and retired. He nicked Wilder's belts and guess what? Tried to run off with them. But thankfully, well not thankfully, but the court ended up catching up with Fury. But don't try and make out he didn't try. He tried to nick the belt and run off and fight bums. That's what he wants to do. He learnt from the best Wilder. Wilder set the blueprint for nicking belts and fighting bums with the WBC protection. Yeah? So anyway, before I go, let me get to what AJ said here. He said, listen, Fury is goofy. I'm dealing with a goofy cat. I'm keen, and Fury knows I will push his wig back. The longer he leaves it, the worse it is for him. When he's ready, come and see me. I can't be chasing Fury's Double D back around. Yeah? AJ said, listen, as much as I like the look of Fury's Double D's on his back, bubbling around, as much as I want to squeeze and suck them, yeah? As sprung as watching Fury's Double D's jungle around on his back, as sprung as that gets AJ, he knows he can't chase. Fury's playing hard to get. Fury knows, everyone's there. When a woman has a nice rack here, she knows it. What's that woman off of YouTube? Is it Finno Boxing? She knows. Yeah, she ain't playing no games. She knows exactly what she's got. Finno Boxing knows exactly what she's carrying, and she don't hide it either. That's her. What's the word? She leverages that. She leverages that A1 10 out of 10 rack, no doubt. Now, with that in mind, with that said rather, guess what? Fury does the same. Fury knows AJ sees that big juicy Double D on his back, jungling around. That gets AJ was already rock hard for him, and then Fury puts that video out teasing AJ. Yeah, his back's just bumbling around. That big Double D back he's got, no doubt. But do you think? Yes, whilst Fury's teasing him, Fury don't want that. Fury don't want AJ to be up in there and splitting them Double D's with his big rock, does he? Yeah? He don't want that. He don't want even a bit of that. And that's why he running around the place. He acting funky. He always got some excuse. Always got some reason why it can't happen. And I hate to break it to you, man, but again, if it was going to happen, it would have happened. Do you not find it odd? There's always some excuse. Oh, it's Eddie Hearn. Oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's that guy. But for some reason, there's never any excuses when it comes to doing other fights. I've never heard Fury or Wilder have any contract negotiations problems with bums. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it really? Genuinely though. Even though there's 10 times less money, 10 times less prestige, 10 times less belts, but it gets done. And that's always been my sticking point. If Wilder can fight for 150 grand against Luis Ortiz, how can he not fight for 150 million? Someone fill that in for me. Because I don't care what problems you think you've got. You'd think for 100 million, oh, but he called me a hillbilly. What? He called me a hillbilly, so I can't fight him. That there in itself is proof the fight will never happen. And the worst thing is, you've got goofy Wilder fangirls, 78 IQ, jab big mama looking ass. They actually defend it. Oh, mate, Eddie Hearns and AJ, they need to come correct, and they called him a hillbilly, and he gonna have to sling his hook, and that's what the LDBC was saying. Fury fans. Well, you've heard what Fury fans say about Wilder. Oh, he was being nasty to my people, or something goofy like that. So anyway, listen, let's wrap this up. Fury, forget about it. The same way that this video is relevant, yeah, before this last contract negotiation failed, but unfortunately, it's going to be relevant forever. Because it ain't going to happen. There'll always be something. And I was hoping this, well, not hoping, but yeah, I didn't care. But the thing is, this last little period, I thought, you know what? The amount that Eddie's trying, this is going to be it. If it's going to happen, it's going to be now. And guess what? It fell through. Now, people can blame the contract arbitration, but like I said, it wasn't done anyway. You guys are making out it was all signed up and then Wilder came along. No, it was never all signed up. You forget that days before the arbitration came out, Fury and Fish Eyes were both saying, Frank Finding Nemo was saying, it's 85-15, which in my mind is not as good as zero. Because what does 85 and 15 really mean? Just get it signed if you want it. Because guess what? Eddie Hearn revealed that AJ had been signed for months before. AJ had signed the contract months before. Fury's team playing around for months. That's what will happen the next time. And to be honest, just listen to Eddie Hearn. Finally, Eddie Hearn's been watching the YB's videos, and finally he's getting the idea as well. You know what? I'm not confident it happens. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Exactly what the YB says. That's how you got to approach these things. Assume it don't happen and take it from there. If it does, it's a bonus. But you can't. AJ really's got the right attitude here. But you best believe this right here isn't the right attitude in that sense. It's not the right attitude for people who actually want to fight. If that makes sense. Or it's not the right attitude for someone who thinks the fight's going to happen. AJ knows full well it ain't happening. And that's why it's all making more sense now why in December AJ wasn't bothered about calling Fury out. It's almost as if he knew. As certain man did, the YB, who told you back in December. Don't get your hopes up. And I remember saying back in December last year, if this fight ain't done by the end of the month, this was December 20, not 2020, by the way. I said, if this fight ain't done by the end of the month, it ain't happening. And then by the next thing I knew, we were like May, and it was still going on. I've never heard of anything like it. And if you want some evidence of that, guess what? Wilder arbitration came out as alleged shocking news, and their fight was signed within a week. And the fight's for 10% of the money, so please explain it to me. You Fury fans who think that you always got excuses. How is it they was able to... How come they never have no problems? How come we didn't want no escrow for that fight? Yeah? How come we didn't want to see no financial details?